Hello, welcome into the studio. My name's Jane, and in this video I'm going to show how I actually completed this page inspired by Roxy and Sarah from Roxy Creations. So I've been following along with Roxy with her journal of stitches for Christmas, and I've made myself a template page, and this is 7" by 10", and I'm going to add a small seam allowance at the top and the bottom, and also a couple of inches at the side, so that I can turn some seams if I need to. So I've cut some needle punch wadding that's going to go inside, and as you can see it's slightly bigger than the front of the page and also size, because I will want to actually turn those pages in so that if I want to add trimmings and things that hang down further than the page, I can. But also I've then got this to actually do the binding with. So for the first page and for the first prompt, it has been reindeer. So I've started getting together my things for the background. Now this has got a scalloped edge. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a scalloped edge, and it was part of a 1950s curtain, and this scalloped edge has all been hand turned, and the curtain has got a frill, and it is really lightweight, but it's beautiful cotton. Of course, because it was 1950s, it was vintage, there were some blemishes on it, so that's why I'm actually going to use it. I've also got together some of the pieces that I think I want to actually put on, and I've just been gathering them together so that, you know, I can actually sort of introduce them to the piece. And you know, I'm sort of arranging them, and I'm not quite sure yet where they're all going to go. I'm just sort of laying these down on top of what I've got here. Okay, now I've also put in, because it's quite a retro image I've chosen, I'll put that over there, I think. And I've got this because it looks like balloons, so I'm going to put that sort of here, and also a bit of lace. And I'll probably put this along here, because I'm actually going to sew this same scallop along, and then cut out the wadding underneath so that it doesn't show through. I'm not sure about the rip-wrap, but that will come with trimmings. Now the image I've chosen is a very 1970s retro reindeer with a lovely big bow, and what I've done is I've transferred it onto Bondweb, and I'm going to use this dyed fabric, which I think has had coffee staining over the top of it as well, so it's got quite a natural look to it. So that will go on the top of there, and as you can see, that's what the reindeer is going to be made of. If I just put that on top, you can see my planning process. So that's what it's actually going to look like, hopefully by the time I've finished, and that will be on there. I've done the Bondweb pieces. I've done my body parts in two, and the head and the antlers in two, so that I can actually put on the rug, and also his lovely harness here. So there we go. That's the sort of planning stage, and what I'll do is I'll show you as I move on. So I'm just stitching with tiny little running stitches the scalloped edge of this 1950s piece of curtain to the layer of sheeting and wadding. Oh, better put that out of the way. Got the last bit here to do. just going to secure it with some beaver stitches. There we go. Put the pin cushion, and then I'm going to cut along this line so that the scalloped edge then should be pretty. And what I have thought of, when I've got to do the back of this page, I'm going to probably draw along the edge of this and add some lace to the other page so that the rough edges of the wadding can't be seen. Or even sew lace to the wadding, because the wadding is white, it can hide the wadding. There we go. That way. So now you can see it's a nice scalloped edge. So all I've got to do now is turn. You can see how small the page is, and I've actually got this bit to put in the bookbinding piece. I'm now going to just trim this up and then pop some tacking stitches along there just to hold that in place, and then work on the rest of it, putting together some of these pieces and put in this piece along here. Okay, and then we'll come back and you can see what I've done. So here is the background ready for the reindeer that's going to go on the top. As you can see, I've done lots of different embroidery stitches. So around the scalloped edge of the old curtain, I've actually put blanket stitch. I've got that trimming that almost echoes blanket stitch. There's a little patch here that's got some rickrack, and there's rickrack in the background. Lots of different collaged pieces with stitches. This one has got some fly stitch to hold it in place, and there's a little bit of lace behind here. So this has got its extra piece, which is this is what's going to be in the binding, which the other page will be sitting to. So I've made sure some of these pieces have actually gone over that, so that when the other page goes to it, they almost interlink, and I'll consider these pieces when I'm actually making the other page. Right, okay, so you can see if I fold that now as if that was going to be the page. I've then ironed the bond web onto my fabric, which is a coffee dyed natural brushed cotton, and I can put on these pieces. Now these have got to have, he's got to have his little harness across here, and I've got to put his blanket on here, or his sort of rug on here, and he needs a tail. So I've got to sort those pieces out. Now I've also, over here, I've put his little eyes, because you know what it's like, you put them down and then you can't find them again. So I've actually done them so that I can put them out of the way. So those are his little eyelids, and then when I actually iron those on, I can actually put him or her some eyelashes, nice whooshy eyelashes. Once I've stitched this on, and I'm just going to probably do a blanket stitch all the way around so that it's in place, a very fine one all the way around, and then what I'll do is I'll show you from then on. But you can see what's going to happen then is, there we go. So So I'll position the reindeer on the page, and then I will actually start adding in the extra pieces that I need. So there we go. Here is a close-up of the page so far, and as you can see, the reindeer is all bond-webbed on, and then I've blanket stitched all the way around the outside of it, including adding on its little harness. When I looked at it, I decided in the end not to put on the sort of rug or extra coat at the back, because by the time I put the bow on, it's covered up a lot of it, and you know, it didn't need to. The little piece of fluff on his tail is a little bit of mock fur, fake fur, and I've just over sewed that on. The eyelashes are, as you can see, that very dark wool there, and I've done a tufted Turkish knot, which is like a chain stitch, and then you secure it with a knot and then you cut it, so it's almost like the carpet stitch, what they use for carpet stitches. But as you can see, when I put this bow on, I don't think it needed any more on there, on the actual reindeer. I am going to put the snowflakes and some bells and things along the side, and I'll show you when the page is completely finished. So here is the finished page, and as you can see, I've put on lots of embroidery and Christmas accessories to the reindeer, and I'm really thrilled with it. It really does look like a 1970s retro reindeer. Thank you to Roxy and Sarah over at Roxy Creations for inspiring us to do these Christmas stitch journals. If you want to see more, just subscribe below, and I'll see you soon.